So it took almost all day yesterday to empty the shelving that I had out of this room, but we finally did it. It's all now sitting comfortably in my garage. But we're pretty sure we have a small gas leak somewhere in this line that runs over here to the furnace. See there, drops, comes in here, and jogs across to the water heater. So I don't like that at all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and replace all this pipe from the connection over here. My meter's just on the other side of that wall. It runs over here, up right now, over there, drops here, and then it has this weird jog between the furnace and the water heater, and I want to get rid of that. Now this water heater has its own issues. We've got some pretty bad corrosion, and this tank isn't supported, so at some point I'm going to have to redo the plumbing to that. I'm kind of considering having some flexible connections from the iron pipe to the units because I do want to replace this floor, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to keep this suspended or drop it down after the fact. I might just have to build the pedestal up for this and keep it where it is. That I think I could lower when I replace the piping above. I contemplated kind of reusing this stuff, but it's so old. The house is 80 years old. It's lived a long, good life, and we're just going to go with new. So I already kind of have a 3D model of my house built in Plant 3D. I drew this up when I was doing my kitchen, and I kind of roughly have the basement sketched in here. And so I think the easiest thing for me to do is just going to be to try to draw this piping layout and how I want it to go in Plant 3D real quick, and then I go buy the materials that I need. So I try to take a lot of the guesswork out of it. So here's what I'm thinking the plan is. We're going to tap into this existing threaded pipe here. I'm going to just bank on that pipe being okay. I don't want to replace that right now. That goes outside to the meter. I don't want to mess with any of the connections outside. Those are super old. So we're going to start here, elbow, run down here, elbow, elbow, run that in the 1-inch pipe. Here we're going to see if I can get a 3/4 reducing T here. If not, I'll do reducer from 1 inch to 3/4. This will be the drop to my water heater. I don't have the right pipe spec in here, so it's not perfect, but there'll be a valve right here. And then I'm going to do a flex connection from right here to the water heater. And then over here for the furnace, drop from inch to 3/4, 3/4 down to here. This will be a union. There'll be a valve over here, and then probably another union that's existing at the connection to the furnace. Yeah, I got the whole cart made on the Home Depot app, and I'm gonna go find this stuff, see if I run into any problems. I may need to jump to another store to get the thread cutter if I can't find it. If I can't find anything at Home Depot, we're going to Menards. 70 bucks, I don't even care. We're gonna get that thing. Got my plan here. I don't know if you can tell, but I worked for a lot of years with piping exclusively, so I did a lot of isometrics, things like that. So it's roughly my plan. I think that's good enough. I'm going to be able to follow this at the store, know what I'm looking for, and I'll probably have to go back at least 1 or 2 times. Don't forget these things. Oh, and then hangers. A way to hang this pipe. I may find a way to attach it to the floor sometime in the future, but I'm obviously going to be replacing my floor soon, so I might wait for that. So I figure before I touch anything, I'm going to make sure that I can actually cut and thread this pipe. So last night I went to Harbor Freight for the first time and got this. Went to Home Depot, they didn't have anything. I went to Menards, they had something, but the handle turned out to be 70 bucks, and then each die was like 60 bucks, and I would need 2, maybe 3. And this one came with the 3 sizes that I would need for 45 bucks. So it was worth the extra trip to the hardware store, I think. I also got this guy. And this was actually more expensive. This was like almost 60 bucks, but this is what I'm gonna use to try and cut this pipe. So I've got a measurement that I took downstairs with my laser from center line of pipe to center line of the pipe I want. That was 88.5 inches. I wanna subtract from my bucket of fittings here, 1 inch elbow. So I'm gonna estimate that center line to face, it's about 1 3/8 inches. Minus 5/8. Yeah, we're about 3/4 for each fitting. 88.5 inch minus 3/4 minus 3/4, 87. That's what's gonna be my first cut. Am I doing that right? No. Yes, because I'm only subtracting. Yeah, 87. Let's try that. If it doesn't work, we'll make it work. How about that? Unfortunately, it is cold again today. Real cold. But we got the heat cranking real hard in there. It's gonna be nice and toasty before I touch anything, if I can get this to work. The one thing I'm worried about is I don't have a vise, And I suspect I may need a vise to get the holding power that I need to do the threading of the pipe. But I've done a lot with these 4 hand clamps that I have, which are pretty much the only clamps I have. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to clamp it down here 4 times. And then if I have to, I think I have some little pipe clamps that I can try screwing it down to the table as well. Wish me luck. I may be going to buy a vise. Whew. Here's our mark. Let's clamp this thing down. We should be fine for this cut. It's the threading I'm worried about. This is satisfying. Definitely worth the 60 bucks. Now, if I ever need to do this again, I got the tool. I have a feeling I'll have to use this again. Almost there. Whoa! All right, part 1, done. That may have been the easy part. Now we're gonna see if we can thread this. So like I said, I know my clamping situation is absolutely subpar, but if I crank all 4 of these down, thinking maybe it'll have the grip. And I'm thinking I also may put the wrench on it to resist the spin if I can. So like, I'm gonna be cranking this way, I think. Might need the wrench the opposite way. Or I can just hold on to it with the wrench while I crank. Let's try it. So I've never threaded anything. I like machining. I just never had the opportunity. And I've thought about doing this before. When I had to do my kitchen renovation, I had a gas stove added. And I just didn't have the nerve to go after doing the line, so I had some plumbers come in. They did it in copper pro press, and is what it is. I think it's working just fine, but we're gonna try to keep it old school, match what's already there. Kind of do the same with plumbing. My house is all copper. I'm not adding any PEX anywhere. I'm sorry. When I'm doing my bathroom, I'm doing copper, and I may end up just rerouting the main and end up replacing the original copper that's in the house because I just don't love the routing. Oh, let's go. Interesting. Safety. Yep. A speed reader. Yeah, see, they got this nice vise with this chain on it. Ooh, I don't have that. Pick up the appropriate dies. Place the die next to the end of the pipe to be threaded. Verify that insert the die into ratchet holder. Fill the oil can with thread cutting oil. Where's the oil can? I guess it's just right in there, huh? Well, I got some of that stuff. Well, let's put this thing together. Oh, yeah. All right. Place the rear of the die next to the end of the pipe to be threaded to verify that the inside diameter of the die matches the outer diameter. Oh yeah, we're good. So I think it goes on like that. No. Yeah? I watched a video about this last night. I'm gonna rewatch that before I make any bold decisions here. Well, based on that, I should be threading it this way, and then the tool goes on the back like I thought. Is our cutting oil ready to go? Oh boy. Tool goes on the back, push it in on the end. Yeah, it's spinning on me. Just what I was afraid of. It's almost like a vise, right? Wish I could clamp that to the leg. Nah, it's not gonna work. I think it's working.
What is that?
Cutting oil.
Cutting oil?
Yeah, I know. Never thought I'd see the day I'd need this stuff. But then again, who can pay a contractor these days? You get it.
Can I do that?
Yep.
Did you use the tools that eat? Did it hit the
Think it works? Let's compare it to from factory.
Did you do it?
I did.
Oh yeah.
We can thread the other end of that one.
But this time, can I help?
No idea if this contraption is going to work, but we're going to send it. So hopefully this is pulling against this, which is clamped to this. I couldn't think of another way to do it. There's probably a way. Maybe if it's flipped over with it. Hey. Let's see. Almost lifted my bench off the ground. Not the best way to do this. But if we didn't make it hard on ourselves, where would the fun be? That worked like a charm. Oh yeah. Oh crap. I just got paper towel on there. I'll clean that off. Oh, that ain't helping. All right, I got my two 1-inch cuts out of the way. This will be my first leg. I'm gonna put a new elbow in at the connection where the meter is. So if we refer to my sketch that I drew yesterday, we just cut this section here and this section here. See, I even had 87. Do I wanna cut anything else now? Maybe not. I kinda wanna start here, install this first piece, put this elbow on, this elbow on. I'll have to adjust the height of that with a nipple between those two elbows to get it dropped low enough so I can get under the joists, not hitting it at my plumbing, set that elevation, and then once I install this piece, I can go here and then build down from there. And then maybe I start at the furnace and come out to close the gap on these two pieces that I can adjust. Piece of cake, right? I think this is one of the hardest parts, and that's done, at least for the big pieces. 3/4 inch, I'm not worried about it. I know if I can thread this, I can thread that. No problemo. But I bought this to see if I had a real bad leak. So it's supposed to calibrate for 25 seconds. Green means nothing detected. So I went around last night and sniffed all the pipes. I've already shut the gas off, but I didn't detect anything. There's definitely kind of a hint of a gas smell in here that we can never get rid of. And we did have someone say that we had a leak. And I'm sure this isn't the most accurate instrument in the world. But I've already decided I'm going to go ahead and replace everything. So I'll at least see if it works when I open up this union. There should probably be a little bit of gas left in the line. I've got a fan over here. I've got the door and the window open, and I'll step out if it kind of gets too gassy. But I'm going to demo this pipe all the way back to the connection that I want to tie into and start running the new stuff. Do I even need to redo that one? Maybe I'll just make this my new tie point. It's newer. That was just done when I got my furnace replaced a couple years ago. Definitely smell it now. This thing does not work. Okay, now I'm going to do the union over at the water heater. All right, now we should be able to drop this in one little spool. Oh. In order to get the fitting off over there, I think I'm going to have to deconstruct this line over there. So let's get to that. So I won't be able to spin this out with this on here. So next I'm going to take this off. And I am confident that the gas is off. And I did look at the meter, it's not moving. But it does still kind of stink like gas because of the residual gas that's in these lines. So I'm going to tape these up as I go. There's another gas line that originally connected over here. Like I said, I had that run to my stove when I did my kitchen, but this one went all the way back through the house and went under the ground in the backyard. No idea where that other end goes. When I had the plumber out here to do the other gas line, I said, well, should I take this down? He goes, just leave it. You never know if you want to use it. Well, I think I can confidently say now that I do not want it. This may get taken out at some point, but it's not a priority today. For any bugs that might crawl up. So this is right here is what we've been trying to get to. That's where we're going to start our new line, running that way. Kind of want to use this space in the future for a gym area. My wife and I think we're going to move our bedroom down here, kind of have a adjoining gym. We're really having a hard time getting to an actual gym, so we think this will be kind of a perfect way for us to be able to work out consistently while still juggling our different schedules. She just started a job, and so everything's kind of crazy right now. I'm traveling a lot. Kids are home for Christmas break. We need a little bit of flexibility with our workouts in order to get them done. So that's why I'm kind of clearing the ceiling here. I want this to be clear and open. I'll probably box the water heater and the furnace in at some point with a smaller utility room, and then maybe have a weight rack in this corner. But yeah, I am going to demo these walls that I built a few years ago. At the time, I needed a utility space or a space where I could store all the paints and solvents and things out of the kids' reach, and this allowed me to do that, but it wasn't ideally placed. The ceiling height was messed up. The door doesn't open all the way. Because I'm going to lower the floor, the wall height will no longer work. So I'm going to take the door off, save that, deconstruct the walls, and continue the floor excavation into this area. So here's all the fittings I have for this job. A mix of 1 inch, 3/4, and 1/2 inch. Some various nipples, a couple valves, a couple T's. I got my pipe compound, some thread tape. From what I see, you can use one or the other, but a lot of people recommend using both. So that's what I'm gonna try. A couple wraps of this, a couple wipes of that, and I have a valve over here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need that. I bought these 2 valves. It may work with that better than that one does. So I'll return maybe one of them and hopefully get to return a few of these fittings because I bought a couple extra to try to avoid having to go back, but we shall see. Home Depot's only open for a little bit longer. I better get to going. First up, we're gonna put on this 1 inch elbow. Nice. There it is. Fabbed up these little hangers, and I'm just gonna tack them into place wherever I can, and hopefully can do that on the fly so I can hold the pipe in place. What? Yeah? I've been better, but I'm working at it. Okay. Oh boy. Hey, honey! Can you help me? Can you come hold this end of the pipe while I try to screw it in? I need to push this thing all the way up. So I tied it down there, and I got it clamped temporarily. All right, well, I'm not gonna lie, that last one really tested my patience, and not sure how much I'm gonna leave in the final cut for you guys to see, but I was struggling pretty bad. Luckily, my wife had just gotten home and she could come down to the rescue because I was in a bad way. But we gotta hustle. So let's get the next fitting on. And I'm optimistic that they're gonna go much more smooth. That big pipe is definitely the hardest one. I was worried that this was gonna hit the floor joist, so I put that board in there. I'm gonna take that board out. I'm done here. Got a little bit of cold spring in the pipe. It'll be all right. I put it in the spec. Back in my days working at the refinery, I did run across some cold spring in one or two situations when I was doing stress analysis. So yeah, I did piping stress analysis, is basically make sure all the pipes are up to code when they're installed. And then I transferred to project management because I thought that was a smart move. Boy, was I gullible. I need some like channel locks. I can't find my channel locks though. That's not good. Oh, good enough in this house. Don't want it to look like amateur hour up in here. All right. Money! Okay, so now the question is, how far do we want to go down on a nipple between those two? So over here, I have pipe that I want to go under. I think this is the one we'll use. Bada boom. Drop that down. Go that way. Should have dusted. I knew you guys were going to be watching. Perfection. Okay, that feels snug. Wasn't so bad. Clean this up a little bit. How'd I do? I think leaving the tape on there kind of protect the threads for the future. Right? That looks pretty clean. I like it. We'll take that one up there and spin it into place. Point it straight over here where that pipe used to be. I saw someone say, you start at 1 to 2 threads below the top so it can't become an obstruction. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm doing. This is honestly kind of fun. Kind of monotonous. It's real tangible, you know? You're like, yeah, I did that. I already sent like 3 people the pictures of the first thread I cut. I'm hyped on that. I think I'm spinning it the right way, clockwise, put it on with the direction that you're putting the fitting on.
Is that telling us that there's gas?
No, it does a calibration at the beginning. It hasn't gone off for me yet. Even when I put it straight on the line after I took the union apart.
Oh, lovely.
Where I knew there was gas coming. So.
You want to bring a space heater down here?
No, not really. I don't need any sources of ignition.
Sure.
Here, honey. Would you like a candle?
Well, according to this thing, there's no gas.
Well, I don't smell gas. It actually kind of smells better than it normally does, I feel like. Okay. Let's get doped up.
Is it the same one that's in the game of Clue?
Maybe. All right, next up. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. It's the other side. We're doing that one early. And I do think I need to worry about how this is going to be supported. This doesn't put a bunch of weight on it. The other one, so I think I might have to do another one of my supports. Sweet hanger. Just going to drive a screw through there. Please clear it. Let's go. Yeah, I don't think I need to worry about the hanger right now. It's hanging up there just fine. Okay, that is snug. Getting better at this. Oh, that's fun. I don't care who you are, that's fun right there. Okay, look at that. So we got 1 inch coming in, 3/4 going out. We're gonna put it in like that. We're gonna have the 1 inch, and this goes out, drop down to the water heater, and this one's gonna go over here, drop down to the furnace.
Alliance exercise starts soon.
Uh-oh. I got bigger fish to fry.
Fritters?
I got bigger fritters to fry.
Is that right?
Let's find out. That'll do for now. Now comes the fun part. I gotta cut a piece to get where I want to go. All right, now I don't know if I should cut this piece first and hope and pray that I nail the dimension perfect to get to this point here, or I start piping from this way. I think I maybe just start piping from this way, and then I can have a measurement up to where I need to be. Well, I can actually use this. This was the old stuff, and the pipe was right here. It was exactly here, and that went straight down in line with that. So can you hold that right on the face of that one to center of this one? So we probably need to add a 1/2 inch. 48 and a half becomes 49, right? Carry the 3, divide by 0. So 48 and a half, 49, and then we're subtracting 3/4. 48 and a quarter. Does that make sense? 48 and a quarter. Final answer. I think we're about through. Last time I said that, it immediately dropped.
How many threads do you have to put on?
Just till goes till the end.
Why does it need lube?
Too much friction, you know?
What would happen?
You wouldn't have good threads.
What's a bad thread?
A thread that could be like gouged, or, you know, because it like tore instead of cut cleanly.
Oh, okay.
I'm going as fast as I can.
I don't know about references.
Okay. I think that's it.
Is that what it's supposed to look like?
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be one of my projects if I didn't lollygag a little too long. And it'd be super late when I finish. Because it is later than I would like to admit on camera, and I'm not done. Still having fun. See how this works. I'm gonna do something like this. Man. Is that working like a freaking charm? So now we got a point A and a point B. I think instead of trying to guess where I need the cut to be on this side, that I go ahead and build this out. Elbow, nipple, valve, nipple, T, up to here, and then I'll have a union on this side. Seven and a half inches center of pipe. T here, 4-inch. Have room for the valve. I like it. So the plan, something like this. I think we can do it. I'm gonna go ahead and pipe this up. We're gonna redo that. It's gonna be close. Close enough, I think. That's pretty close. I'm right on. Right here, center of pipe, center of pipe. So face to face, then we'll subtract this thread depth. 51 and 1/8, it's only a 1/2 inch. Add a 1/2 inch, 51 and 5/8 plus 5/8, 10/8, 52 and 1/4. Should get us there. We just gotta go make that. No problem, huh? We get pretty good at it now. Let's go make that. Let's go. Money.